Welcome to Art of Heart. I'm Marissa Campbell, and I have an absolutely incredible guest today who's going to share her heart through a story that is unlike anything I've ever heard. Her name is Annette. She's a dear friend of mine, and I'm going to take a few minutes and let her introduce herself, and then we're going to jump right in to her heart.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marissa. It is an honor to be here with you on your new podcast. And I'm Team Marissa, so I'll support you no matter what it is you do. My story is one that is shared by an unfortunate number of people. Um, I just happen to have been blessed to come out the other side different. Um, about a year ago, I learned what it was like to face death. I I've had 10 surgeries for lots of different reasons. We could have so many conversations um, on this podcast. Like there's so many stories. But whenever you go into a surgery, you have to sign all the papers. Something could go wrong, blah, 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 all
Of
those things.
course.
Never ever thought I'd have like an adverse outcome. And I never did, fortunately, from any of those surgeries. So fast forward, I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling great. And all of a sudden I wasn't. And I just got sicker and sicker and sicker. And I had sepsis. And as the daughter of a registered nurse, an ICU nurse, I knew conceptually what sepsis was, but I didn't really understand what it did to your body. I thought it was, it's just a bad infection. You take antibiotics and that's it.
It's
Um,
fine.
it is, yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It was not fine. Um, and the survival of that is what got me here because it made me, as those situations often do, right? And I had nothing but 8 days in the hospital bed to really reflect on my life. Um, it stripped away the noise. Having sepsis stripped away the noise of my life, the busyness of my life, the things that we do to just not necessarily even feel or stop and think about what we're doing in an intentional way. It forced me to think about who I had been because it changed who I was and who I wanted to be going forward. And I stand here today or sit here today feeling freer, bolder, and more connected to my own heart than I ever have been.
So it's interesting when you say strip away the noise, because I had a similar experience a few months ago that had nothing to do with a medical emergency, and I didn't understand that. And if you had said that to me, in fact, we've had this conversation about I didn't understand what that meant until it happened to me, and now the gravity of those words is so profound to me because it's happened to me, right? Also, no matter what the catalyst, being on the other side, it's like a gift and a little bit of a curse because now you can't really tolerate the things that you could before.
You can't go
They're not for
back.
you anymore. You
Yeah,
can't go back.
you cannot go back. I didn't realize in the moment. So, I was trying to survive. So that was my sole focus. But once, I was released and I was it took me about 2 months to fully recover. But after like the first 30 days, I was, ready to go back to work. And actually, I kind of worked my way all the way through. I took Zoom calls from my hospital bed because when you're a
Of course you did.
consultant, you don't work, you don't get paid. So I had to figure that out. Um, but I am changed as a person. I'm kinder, I'm gentler, I'm softer, I'm more I'm s- I was never good at tolerating bullshit before, but now I absolutely have zero patience for it. No nonsense. Like I just can't even engage in the conversation anymore. I
No,
lost
no.
friends. I had challenges with my family through that experience. It is fascinating the when you're in a critical situation, the impact to the people around you and who shows up for you and who doesn't.
And then what happens in the go forward? And I think that's the other thing that we don't talk a lot about is when you're in a pivotal moment or when you're in a make or break situation, the people who show up for you and the people who don't, there's a difference after. Things are not the same.
They are not, because you're not the same. And the sooner we all accept that, the better. I lost friendships through that experience, long term friendships that we were. I think we were probably moving away from each other because, as Mel Robbins says in her book, Let Them, proximity is a huge driver of relationships unless you're really intentional about it. And we were no longer in close proximity. Um, but at the same time, I just think about, my friend saying to me, that I looked like I was wearing makeup in the hospital. And I will tell you, there's nothing like a fully hydrated glow to, to make you feel really good. Like,
Uh-huh.
um,
Yes, dehydration is real.
give me an IV drip any day, and you too can glow. Um,
Mhm.
the
Yep.
idea though, it's like I was kind of taken aback though, because I'm like, I look actually really good, which was the weird thing about this experience. I never had a fever. I never, my blood pressure was super, super low, which I didn't realize that was a symptom of sepsis. I just thought it was a good thing. Yay. And I never looked sick. Never did.
And not looking sick is one of those things that is so interesting because even like with mental health or how we're feeling or whatever,
Yep.
if we don't look sick, there's not a
Right.
problem, right?
You don't look
But
handicapped.
you
You don't look
almost died.
disabled. My kidneys were shutting down when I went to the hospital, which is why I went, because I couldn't stop expressing things that I hadn't eaten. Actually, I don't want to say that on a podcast, but uh,
We could read between the lines. We could read between the lines. So, you
yeah,
I would love for you to jump into the part of the story. So there's a couple things that happened, on your way to the hospital and your decision to go to the hospital. Um, we're very much alike in the way that we are action oriented and we're doers and we take care of ourselves. Sometimes maybe a little too much. So will you share a little bit more about the story and how you ended up in the hospital to begin with?
sure. So, my birthday is early August. My dear friend Gina's birthday is, she's a Virgo cusper. She definitely has some Virgo tendencies. Love you, but sorry. And she had had a big year, got divorced, sold her house. Her youngest daughter's going off to college, all the things, right? All those life changes. She moved to Santa Barbara. She was starting her own business, like just a lot. And so we have a fabulous tribe of women around me that we all decided to go to Vegas, where her daughter's going to school, to help move Julie into college and to celebrate Gina's birthday. And so the week before that, I had, you know, I won't say the company name, but I had bought a new strapless bra. And you probably can't tell from this video, but I'm full figured. I'm pretty busty, but I have lost 70 pounds in the past year. So I didn't fully appreciate that I really wasn't the same size that I used to be. So the reason I share that is because that bra, ladies, we all need to make sure we're wearing the right size, had just rubbed a little sore on my abdomen because it didn't fit. And I didn't think two things about it. It didn't bleed, it didn't, nothing. No big deal. My other dear friend, to celebrate my birthday, we went to some urban baths where they do, like, you have a sauna and hot tub and cold plunge and all the kind of things. Cold plunge is not for me. I know people love it, not my jam. But
Me either.
I think it was through that experience that something got in. There must have been some opening, even though I couldn't tell there was. And it just got bigger. It was like a just like a bump that got bigger and bigger, and I didn't think two things about it. But then about midweek, I had this weird, like these lines going across my stomach from it, and I'm like, well, that's odd. Um, so fun because I was going to Vegas. I thought, it's bigger, it's hot. Like I should get this checked out just in case I shouldn't be flying. Maybe it's a blood clot. I don't know, like whatever. Because I am the daughter of an ICU nurse. Like we're not going to the doctor unless we're like bleeding and you can't stop
Yeah.
it. Like you have to be really sick because there's sick people, right? So
Really
don't take up a
sick.
spot.
Yes.
And so I went to the doctor on Friday and she's like, I don't know what it is, but let me order some antibiotics for you. It's clearly infected. We'll see what happens. Literally fly to Vegas on Saturday, pick up my antibiotics on the way to the hotel, like start taking those. Like, we're in Vegas, let's do it. I didn't feel well though. So it was not my usual Vegas experience. Had a couple of cocktails, did the Fremont Street, zip lines, super, totally recommend that. But I just wasn't feeling myself. So by Monday, I kind of hung in my room. We were all going out to dinner. And I got ready for dinner, and I'm like, well, I haven't really eaten today, so I don't know. I just had to keep stopping because my blood sugar was low. So I had some juice, and I get to dinner, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it through dinner. Like, I don't feel well. I need to go home. Now, I thought I had COVID because I just flew, right? So I just assumed I got COVID. Like,
Oh.
whatever, it's no big deal. And I get home Tuesday, pick up my dog. I'm, kind of working, still not really feeling well. Take him back on Wednesday because it's getting worse. And I'm like, well, let me just finish my antibiotics. It just hasn't had time to kick in. By Saturday night, I had finished my antibiotic that morning, and I was so sick. I could not get off the couch. I was sweaty like I had a fever, even though I didn't have one. And then started the emissions, and I couldn't figure it out. But I just had this intuition came to me that I was super sick. And if I didn't go to the hospital right now, I was going to die. And for the audience, I live alone, like a lot of people do. And I realized I did not want to die at home alone. So it took me about an hour and a half to take a shower because, you do not go to the
You're
hospital
not going
without having a
dirty.
shower. Well, especially because the hospital I wanted to go to is one that I used to work at. And it's like, well, you just never know who you might see. I didn't put on makeup or anything like that, but still. And then I had not really unpacked my bags because I was so sick. So I just put a cute little travel outfit on and got my backpack with my laptop because I didn't know how long it was going to be. Because even just going to the emergency department, it can be hours. So I did all that, called the ambulance, which anyone listening, if you think you need to go to the hospital, call an ambulance because that will get you in. Had I have waited for someone to drive me or tried to drive myself, I wouldn't have made it. I would not have made it. That was the difference. So I'm on the phone with 911. I'm walking out. I have a condo complex. So I feel like I'm going to pass out and I want to make sure someone can find me. So I walk out to the main gate and I sit on the curb while I wait for the ambulance. And she stays on the
With
phone
your
with me
backpack.
with my backpack. I
With your
mean, I
backpack.
was cute and
Just
it's
sitting on
super
the
cute and
curb.
stylish. It's
Of course, of
it's a
course.
Monos. It matches my luggage. And she's like, "Why are you walking? Why don't you sit down?" I said, "Because it's dark over here. It's the middle of the night. I No one would find me probably until morning, right? And I'd be dead." And I said, "So here we are. I'm walking out there. Ambulance drivers didn't want to take me because my vital signs and everything were normal. I seemed fine. I'm like, no, we are going. They're like, all right, if you insist. Um, and I get to the hospital, and those nurses were absolutely amazing. Can I say the name of the hospital?
Of course.
So I am a Sutter baby, Sutter Medical Center, Sacramento. I was born at Sutter Memorial Hospital. I have been Team Sutter for my most of my life, and spent 22 years working there as well. So I knew where I needed to go. And while there was no one on staff at that moment that I knew from, because I'd left there 5 years before, um, the nurses were amazing. They got me in right away, got me started on IV. They're like, we don't know what the infection is, but we're going to start you on a basic, like vancomycin antibiotic, broad spectrum antibiotics. Sorry.
Somebody wants to play.
But my annoying
I love it.
coworker. Uh,
Who is the
um,
cutest?
thank you. Thank you. Not now. Um, a, a broad spectrum antibiotic. And so then I was good. I spent the night in the emergency department, and I do have to apologize and talk about karma coming back because anyone who's ever watched the show Dr. Pimple Popper,
Yes.
right? And
Uh-huh.
I have questioned, like, how did you let that grow on your body for so long? Like, what?
Mhm.
Well, it had only been like a week and a half for me, but I had this big thing that they opened up, and let me tell you, it was Dr. Pimple Popper worthy. And I was like, ugh. And it was like a hole like the size of my fist in my abdomen, but on the outside, it was just like a bump. Like it was the most bizarre thing. Anyway, so they do that. They culture it to try to figure out what the actual infection is, send me to my room. And it was at that point the next morning. No, I didn't do that. The next afternoon, I didn't get into my room until the next afternoon. And that's when I called my sister and my best friend at the time saying, this is what's happening. Here's where I'm at. And they were both not happy because, like, why didn't you call us? Well,
Mhm.
but here's why I didn't call. I mean, I've done this. Like I said, I've had 10 surgery. I am a medical frequent flyer, and I was where I needed to be. There was nothing they could do for me. I didn't need people to hold my hand or hang around. I was too sick. Like, I literally couldn't stay awake. And I didn't know what the outcome would be. And I get it. I do understand their perspective that if I had not made it, they wouldn't have known that I was even there, right? Or to check up on me or anything like that. So I get that part. What I was surprised at is that I don't know that they ever understood why I made the decision that I did to not call.
Probably not. Probably not.
But so anyone though that's listening, if you feel sick enough to go to the hospital, call an ambulance. That's the only way you'll get seen right away. Um, what happened? So after that, so I'm just kind of laying in my hospital bed, and people are coming to visit, and it's fine. I, I had to just do some background work. Like I said, conceptually, I knew what sepsis was, but I didn't really know and didn't really know the symptoms and signs and all that stuff. So, of course, now my algorithm is sending me all of these stories. And one that stuck with me on Apple News was this young man, 36 years old, married, young kids, who didn't feel well, thought he had COVID, and just went upstairs to take a nap, and he didn't wake up. And for me, that was this one story that, like I said, is stuck with me today. And that could have been me. I was so close because in doing all
But you
my
followed your
vitals,
intuition. Like,
I
you
did.
followed your intuition.
I
You
did.
knew something was wrong and you took
Mhm.
action, even against everybody else is saying your
Yeah.
vitals are fine, the ambulance didn't wanna take you. Eh,
Right.
you followed your intuition, and thank God you did.
I know. And which is so for anyone who doesn't know in healthcare, you have to advocate for yourself. And it wasn't until I was like in a bed in the emergency department that I felt like I could let go. And I confess, which may have been difficult for my friends and family, because when I let go, I let go. I didn't give a shit about anything. I don't like. I literally gave no f's at all about anything. The food was horrible, but besides that, I couldn't. I remember my friend coming to visit me at probably day 4, and I needed slippers, so she brought me slippers. That was nice. And she's like, "Well, what's the diagnosis? Like, when are you going home?" And like, I'm like, "I don't know. I don't have an answer yet." Because the culture had to grow. Like the bacteria had to grow, and it takes time. And I didn't care. Like, they're not kicking me out. I'm not leaving. So I did not care. She cared more than I did. She was upset about it. That, why don't you care? And I'm like, I just don't. I don't. It'll happen when it happens because I'm where I need to be and I'm alive, and that's enough for me right now. I don't really need if I may never know. I don't even care. Turns out it's a really very pretty little bacteria. She's like a peridot color, kind of a light green.
So
She's
fun,
lovely.
also
Yeah.
not welcome.
No.
Not welcome.
Lives
Please
on
don't
your
visit
skin.
again.
Right. Well, we all have it. It lives on your skin. And which is where it's meant to stay, turns out.
Not on the inside, huh?
Not on the inside. It's a different story. Yeah. Yeah,
Wow,
so
wow.
after reading those stories, I left there feeling so blessed that I survived. Shout out to Sutter Medical Center Sacramento staff. They were amazing. Um Scared. Huge imposter syndrome going on. Why me? Why did
Mm.
I survive? So many people don't. Um So, what does that mean for my life? Because clearly there's something, I'm meant to be here for a reason, or else I
Mhm,
wouldn't have survived, right? When so
mhm.
many others don't. So, what is that reason? What is that purpose? And
So so before we get into that, I wanna
Mhm.
pause for a second, and I want for you to describe your heart on the day you almost didn't come back. What did it look like?
It looked like shattered porcelain because the things that you think about as you're facing death. And it's kind of like what's in the movies or on TV, where your life kind of does, it doesn't flash before your eyes, but you reflect on, the big moments, um, small moments that really meant a lot to you, the people that mean a lot to you. Um, and it felt I was going that if I died, I was going to miss so many people that mean so much to me, and that I had not always done a good job of making sure they knew how much they meant to me, and I had regrets around that, and I didn't want to die with regrets. And so when I think about the porcelain, it was still beautiful. It was sharp, had jagged edges. Um, I felt shattered in a way that I didn't anticipate, but also calm and resolved as I kind of work through this, whatever this thing is, and finding out what it is. Like, I don't know, it was just this weird dichotomy of feelings, like a swirl and all these colors, and just, I don't know, it was a lot.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of words, and there's a lot of but just to say you were sick in the hospital is totally different from my heart was shattered porcelain, but there was a beating gold behind it, and I knew that I wasn't ready to go.
Right. I was
So
not.
profound and so powerful.
Yeah.
You mentioned the repair what you felt like the repair process was. And so I have to admit I had to look up the word, and I'm not gonna steal the story, but I had to look it up, and then I had what is I'm trying to understand what this means. I was, like, frozen in the process to rebuild and to put back together stronger. So I want you to share that with us.
Yeah, so it's a kintsugi. And I don't my social media feeds are really interesting because the most interesting things come across. This is where I found out about it. Was like I think on Instagram. Kintsugi is a methodology that Japanese ceramicists use to fix something broken, to a broken vase or cup or something. And instead of just gluing it back together, they weld it together with this beautiful gold um, material. I don't even know what it is. Um, but it makes the new product that's been stitched back together even more beautiful than it was before. And that's what my heart felt like. So it went from the jagged pieces of porcelain to now it's not perfect. It's not the same as it was, but in some ways it's actually better. It's stronger. It's more resilient. It sparkles. It has it's gold sparklies in it, which I don't know that my heart always did before. Like we could be here all day with all the stories I have between an abusive marriage and an abusive mother and like just stuff, life stuff. Like
Stuff.
everybody's got stuff. And you just kind of keep moving with the noise. You just kind of keep going. And it wasn't until my heart shattered in those moments that I was truly able to let all that stuff go and focus on just the joy of being alive, the joy of seeing the sun, the joy of having people that I am so blessed to be surrounded by so many people that love and support me. I just had a milestone birthday party, and the people that came out to help celebrate me, my heart is still full.
That's amazing. And so, obviously, that's a very hard story. Like, that was a hard thing to live through. And on the other side, there's a huge aha. There's a you're different, right? Like, you came out the other side and, like, you may look the same. Like, I look at you and you may look the same, and people who knew you before be like, "Oh, yeah, it's totally just Annette." That but that is not at all what is on the inside. So, tell us a little bit about being freer than before.
I do have become comfortable with letting people be who they are. I'm a fixer. I'm a helper. I believe in service and gratitude, all those things. I do a lot of nonprofit philanthropic kind of work. And because my dad taught me to whom much is given, much is required. And he modeled that behavior for me. Um, I am, in some ways, I do feel disengaged. And what I mean by
Mhm.
that is I did take ownership. I did feel responsible for helping people become
Yes.
their best selves, for helping fix whatever was going on with them, being a safety net for people. And I don't feel that anymore.
And it just, like, unplugs. It's just
It
not there anymore.
I
It's like
just
it's severed.
don't.
It's like it's not.
And it doesn't mean I don't love you and I don't care for you, but I'm going to
Oh,
let
no.
you, if you want to make mistakes, you want to blow up your life, you want to do, oh, okay, go for it. You want to continue seeing that guy that's not good for you? All right. Told you how I felt about it and you do you. Like we all have to. So, yeah, so I'm sure there are people that think I'm more disengaged, but it's just I'm minding my business.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
gave myself
And
the
be
freedom to do that.
right, and then that frees up so much space within you to
Yes.
experience more joy
Right.
and to do more things. Behind you, there's a sign that says happiness is like a butterfly, right? Like it gives you more opportunity because you're not so consumed or distracted by all these things that really don't have anything to do with you, but you carry because it's the noise. You carry because you want to, because you love, but it takes away from you.
Absolutely. I mean, I think about what was I doing last year? I was like super involved in our election system, phone banking and canvassing, working like crazy for other supporting other people's efforts. Even though I have my own consulting practice in supporting my clients, I kind of lost myself in that. Um, Working my business more like a gig worker than actually driving my business forward. Um, that kind of pissed me off when I realized what it was because that's not why I went into business, right? Like, what am I doing? Anyway, but other things too, how I treat my body, what I put into my body. Um, I stopped drinking because that aha moment in the hospital when I looked in that horrible hospital lighting, but in the bathroom, but the mirror, and I'm like, damn, girl, you look good. Like I looked real, my skin
Hydration
was
is real.
in
Yeah.
hydration. My skin was glowing. The whites of my eyes were white. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I'm completely detoxed. Got it. That's what this is. And so I may have a cocktail every once in a while now, but not often. I can't drink wine anymore. My body doesn't metabolize it the same way. Things that used to taste really good don't so much anymore. Although I still love a good burger.
Yeah.
Still love a
As
good
do I,
burger.
as do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
But
just
isn't it
little
interesting
things.
how that change in your spirit, because I think that's a change in your spirit, right? Then next into your mind and you're like, "Wait a second, what am I doing?" And your body's like, "Oh, I didn't like those things anyway. Thank you so much. That's not for me." And it becomes this. I didn't understand mind, body, spirit connection until a few months ago. I really didn't. Like, theoretically, I get it, but really what that means, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, what happens, like your mental state, whatever that is, has a physical impact on your body, which I think we kind of knew, but I didn't. I thought of it in the context of like heart disease, right? Which can come from like extended periods of stress. No, something as simple as um, changing how you see the world, changing how you see yourself, how you, when I drink now, it feels like putting poison into my system.
So if we think about that change in you, and now you're different on the other side, and you really are, right? What does your heart look like being different on the other side?
Oh gosh, I feel like it's like a bright purple now. Um, like the colors before dawn, where it's kind of purplish and orangey, and because I love orange is like my favorite color, with the little yellow highlights to it, and it's pulsating and it's excited and rich and full, healthy,
Healthy.
healthy in a way that I don't know. when I think about the things that have happened in my life leading up to last year, I don't know that my heart was healthy. It wasn't happy. It wasn't, I had happy moments, but my core center heart was heavy and burdened by all the things that had gone on in my life before. And I wonder how many of us, when we have difficulties today in whatever relationships they may be, is I wonder how much is it because we're carrying stuff that is weighing on it, physically manifesting in our heart, weighing on our heart, getting in the way of us fulfilling our purpose, finding our joy. Like all of I just I want to help people change their mindsets, change their hearts, which is why I am so thrilled to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. It's that changing of a heart. When you described your heart, what I felt was vibrancy, right? Like a vibrancy that maybe you didn't have before because you were carrying all these things, because there was all of this noise. And it creates this dull gunk almost over, the first time we met, I saw you from across the room. We were at an event and I could feel your energy and feel your vibrancy from across the room. And we met and we're like, we just
I
instantly
know.
clicked, right?
We bonded.
And we bonded, and it was this genuine human connection that when I experience for me, it's one of those things that for me is a sacred anchor. Like as I've gone through this process, I now understand that for me, it's adventure, it's wonder, and it's genuine human connection. And as an introvert, right? And as someone who doesn't necessarily like to talk to people, when I
Are you
have
sure
those
you're an introvert?
100%,
Huh. Because
100%,
the conversations we've had from the very beginning, I would never have guessed that
because
about you.
Because we just instantly connected, right?
We
I
did.
describe it, have you seen the movie Avatar? Okay, so okay, you know how an avatar when the horse flying thing and the avatar connect and it creates this, like, fiber optic? That's what that feels like. So when we met, it felt like there was an instant fiber optic connection.
Yeah, that's
That is
true.
what all this is all about for me, right? Like, that connection, we just had that instant thing. And it was wonderful. And there was a vibrancy that you are such a vibrant human. And it's when you shared the story about the sepsis and the near death experience and the change into this vibrancy. It's so funny because when that happened, I had no idea this was on the horizon. This art of heart and this entire MC Speaks thing, this was not even a glimmer.
You know, we talked
And then
about a
what an
couple of different
amazing,
things.
yeah.
So when did you start thinking about this podcast? Was it when we had burgers that day?
It was actually after, so it was about 60 days ago, and, yeah, things had come together and there'd been some shifts in my life, and I had a somatic release, and I came out different on the other side, and I realized I didn't care about 97% of the things in my life anymore, um, I including my job and my career, and it's not that I don't wanna work hard at things, but, like,
But I want to work at the things that I want to work at. I want to work at the
yeah,
things that make my heart happy.
yeah, yeah, and for me, if I can help people to understand what their heart looks like and to map these waypoints to get them to joy on the other side, that's what I'm that and these stories that need to be told, like, Annette, if one person hears your story, okay, and is sitting there in a situation where they are sick and their intuition tells them to go to the hospital and they're like, "No, I'm just being a baby. I'm not gonna go." And they're like, "Wait, there was that one lady I listened to on the podcast and she went and it saved her life."
I know.
That's the
I know if
stuff,
one
man.
person, right? Because we kind of talked about that. I'm like, I want to be able to get this story out so people know just some basic things. And there are so many people living alone these days
Mhm.
or lonely who feel like they don't have a tribe, they don't have people to lean on. I had so many people I could have called, didn't make sense, didn't to get everyone out of bed. And I'm so glad that I didn't. But for those people in that situation, trust yourself. Don't just think you're bothering people. The ambulance is too busy. No, it's what they're there for.
It's what they're there for. So, if you had to leave the podcast and the listeners with one thing, what would you tell them?
Well, I have 2 things. I literally just had this aha moment while we were talking. And my work as a consultant is really helping leaders that are experiencing challenges and their organizations thrive. And part of what I teach is I don't call it teaching from the heart, call it leading with empathy and vulnerability. But I feel like we have some more synergies here happening and that we're going to work together in some way, shape, or form doing something. Not sure what that is, but I just want to make sure we put that in posterity and put a pin in it today. Because somehow like there's a connection there for sure. Because so many people are disconnected from their hearts. And I can't tell you, I do some executive coaching as well. And so many of my clients, it is so hard to get them to focus on their growth and development and not work situations. Like we are so, it's so ingrained in who we are as we move through the world today. And that is not the end all and be all. Nobody, when you're dying, you are not thinking about, did I get this work done? Did I do that work? Did I have a great work? No, that is like the last, it truly is the last thing on your mind. It's the bigger picture of your life and the totality of life. And what do you want your life to look like? And so for anyone that's listening, I think I want you to think about the life that you want to live. And if you aren't living it today, you don't feel that joy in your heart every day and true joy, not what we're told is joyful, um, not what you see on social media, in your own heart. What does that feel like today? If you're not living your heart truth, heart purpose, heart truth, um, I I wish for you that you find it before it's too late because it is life changing and liberating and freeing and true joy.
True joy. It's unlike anything else I've ever experienced. And it wasn't until I mapped my waypoints and my hearts that I realized where that joy came from and how to capture more of it. And it really is about capturing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't let it just be a fleeting thought. Sitting with it. I like to tell people, the classic adage be comfortable with being uncomfortable because there is a difference. When you do open your heart like that, when you do have that release and you're not the same, it's scary. Like, I don't know who I am. Like, what does this mean?
The most scary thing ever.
Yeah, it is. And you have to sit with that discomfort and it'll be uncomfortable until it isn't. So you have clarity.
And then and then you gotta find something else that's uncomfortable because if we're not doing hard things, what are we doing? We've gotta push
It's true.
ourselves.
That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, it really does. Well, thank you so much. It has been wonderful having you today. Thank you so much
Thank
for sharing your
you.
story and your hearts. And I am really honored to call you my friend. So
Thank you, my
thank you so
friend.
much.
And I'm so proud of you. Super excited for you.
Awesome. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Okay.